Meg turned pale as Archewell was closed down, audited, and fined by the government after private donors sued. Prince Harry has just been criticized for his ridiculous actions. These views and claims were brought to light by broadcaster Esther Krak, who she began by branding the couple as completely ridiculous and accused them of not doing much in Miss Crackle's eyes. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's lives are quite ridiculous. Members of the royal family, obviously. Anything related to them is quite huge news, but it's that kind of sensationalism that makes them leave the royal family and call for privacy and do everything they can to fight back. Their privacy, signing agreements with Netflix and Spotify. Reputation is nothing to applaud in the face of criticism from experts. The Sussexes Town and Country magazine is running a great article about Harry and all his good deals. This month's article was written by stepping back from royal duties in 2020. Back then, the Duke of Sussex gave up on one of the most powerful platforms in the world, and one can't help but wonder whether he will continue his new career as a content creator for a streaming service. Consider this. The Sussexes Fund raised more than $13 million in its first year of operation, and then spent nearly $4 million more on fundraising and expenditures than both the Clinton and Obama foundations during the year firstly. It wasn't the first year that was funny because it was always a reenactment of history with these two. And don't forget, $10 million of that is from a donor who donated the whole $10 million to a brand new fund with no track record, especially one who made a lot of money. Harry's involvement with charities appears to have been largely on paper, or rather on the web, with the exception of occasionally attending events that required traveling around the world and the use of private jets. Of course, Charity Navigator did not give them a score, even though they were supposed to, at least 3 years per Charity Navigator. The Archewell approach is to impact outcomes. Navigator's results, because it qualifies, have not yet received the data. Or rather, we have not developed algorithms to estimate its actual impact, or even other, its programs are not direct services, or it does not rely heavily on contributions from individual donors, according to Google. Archewell has not filed a 990 since 2021. The Form 990 basically means the U.S. equivalent of a tax return. Charities within 3 registered 501c nonprofit corporations must submit them to demonstrate income and expenses. So the fact that the Sussexes don't have a deadline until 2022 means that they are due in May, or they've applied for an extension and haven't hit the second deadline just yet. Not spending money properly. That's the way that the IRS can shut down the whole organization. The idea behind the 990 is to look at where a charity is getting its money from and how it's spending it to ensure compliance with the laws governing nonprofit organizations. Technically, if Archewell's tax year ends on December 31st, it would have until May 19th or May 15th of the following year to file. Currently, the 990 is 6 months overdue. Perhaps they have applied for an extension. If a charity fails to file for 3 consecutive years, it will lose its tax-exempt status. I wonder if that was part of the plan, to choose the company to coincide with the divorce. If we follow the trademark application form, they applied for multiple renewals before letting the application lapse, meaning that they could do the same thing with Archewell. If the TIG restarts after the divorce, Meghan will keep all the profits from it, but the money can be used to offset her spousal support.